Good afternoon to our cherished listeners, and thank you for joining what we believe is your favorite program this afternoon. My name is Bernice Afote. I'm an Education USA advisor based in the US Embassy in Accra. I'm here with three powerful ladies this afternoon. We're going to be talking about graduate programs in the USA. But before we do that, I mentioned that I'm an Education USA advisor. Let me tell you just a bit about what we do as advisors. So Education USA is a US Department of State network present in 170 countries and having about 430 centers all over. In Ghana, we have two centers, one in Accra where I'm based, and the second in Kumasi at ACE Consult in Asokwa. My colleagues in Accra and Kumasi are both here with us this afternoon, and we have wonderful presenters joining us this afternoon from two states in the US. So we have Maryland and we have Illinois. I'm happy we have two schools. So we have Miss Rachel from Illinois State University, and then we have Miss Rebecca from University of Illinois at Springfield. And then we have Miss Vanessa from Hood College in Maryland. I'm sure you'll be wondering why Illinois. I'm happy to announce that I'm also an alumni of an institution from Illinois. If you want to know which institution that is, you see me behind those, okay? But for this afternoon, we are going to be talking about graduate programs in these schools. And as the presentations are ongoing, if any questions come up, do well to type them in the chat box. After they are all done presenting, we are going to be looking at the questions and answer as many as our time will allow. At this time, I will turn over to Miss Rachel. And sometimes I butcher people's names. So I will let her tell you exactly how she wants you to pronounce the name. But I'll turn over to her and she will tell you what it is. But they are all very important people if you're looking at studying at the graduate level at any of these schools. So listen carefully and enjoy yourselves. Miss Rachel, over to you. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Bernice. Very excited to be here today. My name is Rachel Karachi. I am the Associate Director here at Illinois State University. And just a little quick blurb about myself. I have been at Illinois State for about 16 years. I do oversee the graduate admission process, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have just about Illinois State in general, even on the undergraduate side as well. I will give a short presentation, as she mentioned, just so that you all can learn a little bit more about Illinois State. And if you do have any questions for me, you're welcome to reach out to me directly. My email address is listed below. That's probably the easiest way to get in touch with me. My phone number is also listed as well. And if you do have questions, you're welcome to reach out to our graduate coordinators. And I do recommend that really our graduate coordinators at the graduate level are a great resource for our students as well. I will go ahead and just keep diving right in. So here at Illinois State, we've got an overall total enrollment of about 20,000 students. So we're a fairly mid to large sized institution. We have about 2,500 graduate students at Illinois State. In fact, really, our graduate population is relatively small, and obviously in comparison to our overall total. And our graduate students tell us time and time again, the reason why they chose to attend Illinois State is because of the individualized connections that our students really do make within their program and with our faculty. So we are really excited to have our students here at the university. We also have a lot of different assistantships and some financial aid opportunities for students. And you'll see about 38% of our students are on a graduate assistantship. And really the vast majority of our financial aid opportunities are going to be on the graduate level. So that's the reason why I'm going to be speaking mostly about that today. We have about 150 programs at the university between our certificates, our master's, and our doctoral degree programs. And we do have quite a few international students at the university. And in fact, this year we are going to have more international students at the university than we've really ever had before. So we are really excited to really be hitting a fairly large amount of our international students here on our campus. Also want to mention that we are a top 100 best master's degree college for the money by College Factual. We have 100% of our graduate assistantships that come with tuition waivers. We also rank by US News and World Report. And so we are just, like I said, really excited for some of the different things that we have going on here at Illinois State University. And I'm just really excited to share them with you today. I do want to mention just a little bit about our community. So I've talked just a little bit about Illinois State in general, but just also a little bit about our community. We are located in Normal, Illinois, which is really smack dab in the center of the part of the state of Illinois, commonly referred to as Bloomington Normal. We have about 132,000 individuals who live in Bloomington Normal. The population itself is relatively strong population, and it's really grown a lot, doubled in size really in the last 20 years. As I mentioned, we're very centrally located in Illinois, so we are not in Chicago itself. We are located about 2 hours south of Chicago and about 2 hours north of St. Louis. There's a lot of different things to do within the Bloomington Normal community. Just adjacent to our campus is Uptown Normal, and Uptown Normal is where you can find a lot of local shopping, a lot of local restaurants. We have a transportation center. That's where you can catch the local Amtrak to get up to Chicago or down to St. Louis. And we also have a local movie theater. And that's really just, again, adjacent to our campus. But Bloomington Normal itself is much larger than that. We are a top 5 college town in America based on our quality of life by College Values Online. And I do also want to mention that we have some major employers that are located here in Bloomington Normal. For instance, many of you may not necessarily have heard of this company, but State Farm is one of the largest insurance companies in the United States, and they are located here in Bloomington Normal. We also have another large insurance company, which is Country Financial. We have a couple of other colleges and universities that are also located here in Bloomington Normal. And then another large employer that is recently coming onto the Bloomington Normal scene is Rivian Motors. And Rivian is an electric motor company, and their plant is now located in Bloomington Normal. They are doing some really awesome things, not only for our community itself, but also for the Illinois State University community. So we are really excited to share that with you. Just briefly want to chat about the graduate school, who we are. We do provide professional development for our students. We host social events. We send you a weekly newsletter. We also oversee the thesis and dissertation process. We have the copyright officer at the university. We also host a lot of different events. For instance, our University Research Symposium, our GradBird Scholar, and also our 3-minute thesis competition as well. And I want to just provide to you the level of support that we provide to our students itself. Here at Illinois State, we do strive really to provide a lot of different amenities for our students. So first and foremost, just want to let you all know that if you probably will not be able to purchase or bring a car over, obviously, but we do provide universal access for our students. That does provide free transportation via our Connect Transit bus routes. They're There's about 14 different bus lines that run throughout Bloomington Normal. Those do run Monday through Saturday. It's very easy to ride on those bus routes, and you just need to show your valid ISU student ID. We do also provide support to students through our Milner Library. And Milner Library is a phenomenal library on our campus. It's 6 floors, lots of different places to study there. You have obviously common areas, which are much louder and larger. And then you have some really quiet floors. So if you do need to find that, we do offer that. We also have a lot of different technological materials and resources for our students, like printing, scanning, and copying, but you can also find other types of technology there as well. I do also recommend that once students become graduate students at Illinois State, that they reach out to our library, because our librarians can really help you through the research process as a graduate student. So that's a really great tip there. We do also have a student fitness center. It is included with our students in their student fees. And so always something, just to kind of note, it is a state-of-the-art facility, 170,000 square feet. There's a pool, a rock climbing wall, free weights, workout classes, treadmills, all the things that you would find obviously in a large university student fitness center. Last couple of things that I want to mention is, we offer quality and convenient healthcare for students. We provide exams, treatment, urgent care, some minor surgical procedures for our students, and it is only open to our current students on our campus. And it's really easy to schedule an appointment all online through the Student Health Services portal. We do also provide healthcare for students as well. And so for our international students, just to let you know, our healthcare plan is a premier healthcare plan for students across the nation. So it is an amazing plan. You do automatically get enrolled in it when you are a full-time student at 9 credit hours. Last thing I want to mention before I just briefly chat about admission to the university is we do also offer free counseling services for students. We know now more than ever, especially during a pandemic, how important our mental health is, and that's really important for our students. So we do also provide some free student counseling services that offers individual and group therapy sessions. Just want to briefly chat about the international application process for you all. So I do recommend you take a look at our program requirements. As I mentioned earlier, we have 150 different programs at the university. That's certainly a lot. And on our website here at illinoisstate.edu/admissions/graduate, you can find a program overview about all of our programs, what it takes to apply to that program, what materials are, what minimum GPA requirements there are. If you need to reach out to anyone, maybe talk to a coordinator within that program, we do have the contact email name, phone number, email address also listed there. So you're certainly welcome to reach out to those individuals. Just know that deadlines will vary by the program. And we certainly recommend that you apply about 6 to 9 months in advance. So if you're looking at coming in for the summer or fall of 2023, our application will open in mid-September. And I really do recommend that you have an application on file by early to mid-February is really the best time to apply. We do also offer, for some select programs, spring admission, which would start in January, and that application is open right now as well. There are some materials that you may need to provide to us. Just in general, you'll notice we may ask for a personal statement, a resume, writing sample, some letters of recommendation. There are a few programs, not all of them. In fact, it's only a handful that do require either the GRE or the GMAT for admission. If you're going into anything in the fine arts, like art, theater, or music, they will also require a portfolio or possibly an audition. Again, I encourage you to take a look at our program requirement page to learn what is required. We do require, obviously, an application for admission and then unofficial transcripts from all the schools that you've attended. As an international student, we do also require a passport that you can upload to the application portal. Since all of you are tuning in today from Ghana, we do not require an English proficiency exam. So because your native country does speak English, we do waive that. And then last but not least, the declaration of finances is required, but that doesn't need to be submitted until after you're accepted to the university. If you have any questions about being an international student, you're certainly welcome to also reach out to our international admissions, and their email address is below at internationaladmissions@illinoisstate.edu. The last couple things I just want to mention before I turn it over to my next colleague is paying for college or paying for graduate school. And so we do have some really great ways for you to pay for it. We offer graduate assistantships that do come with a tuition waiver and a monthly stipend. As I mentioned, these are competitive. About 38% of our students at the university are on an assistantship. We also have tuition scholarships, and again, those are awarded to students on academic merit, as well as graduate scholarships, as well as international scholarships. And so they are all based on merit, and so it is really important that you take a look at our international admissions page, and that is illinoisstate.edu/international. One last thing I want to mention then about our graduate assistantships, they do come with tuition waivers. We also provide students with a monthly stipend. You do receive reimbursement for healthcare. Again, that's a huge benefit and savings for students. You can also take up to 12 credit hours in the summer following your GA appointment. And we do also provide to you a 10% reduction in your student fees. So if you are able to secure a graduate assistantship, you really are paying for your student fees, and then obviously any living expenses that you would need as well. We have 3 different types of assistantships. That's teaching, research, and pre-professional. Teaching and research are going to be more on the academic level, obviously working either to teach a class or working one-on-one with a faculty member. And then we do also offer some pre-professional type of positions that may be geared towards your particular program. I do recommend that students take a look at our human resources website to learn more about some of our positions. And we do post all of those positions also then on our website. I know that we're going to leave some time at the end to answer any questions. So kind of be thinking about what questions that you might have for either myself or any of the colleagues that are on here today. And again, just want to say thank you so much for having us. And if you do have any questions, you are always welcome to reach out to me directly. My phone number and my email address are listed below. So I'm going to turn it now over to Rebecca Johnson, and she is the Associate Director of Admissions at the University of Illinois at Springfield. So let me go ahead and stop sharing so that Rebecca can hop on. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Rachel. So as she said, I'm Rebecca Johnson. I am the Associate Director of Admission at University of Illinois Springfield, and I'm currently also overseeing international student recruitment as well. And so if you reach out, you'll probably interact with me at various levels. And so I'm happy to be able to share the various opportunities we have at UIS. So kind of a brief overview and kind of where we're located. So Rachel mentioned that Bloomington Normal is kind of in the middle of the state of Illinois. If you're not familiar with kind of the individual states of the United States, we are right here in the blue section, kind of right in the Midwestern part of the United States. And then within this state, we are located where this yellow star is. Bloomington Normal is about 45 minutes north of us, so it's not really too far away. And there is a train that goes from Springfield up to the Chicago area, as well as down to St. Louis, which are the 2 main international kind of gateways for students coming to UIS. So Springfield itself has about 120,000 people living in it. So we're kind of a mid-sized town in the United States. And then again, about 3 hours south of Chicago, and we're about an hour and a half north of St. Louis. So a little bit about UIS. We are a mid-sized university in a capital city. So Springfield is the capital of Illinois. So this is where a lot of the government offices are located, a lot of nonprofit organizations, and we have a tradition of educating public servants and leaders. So through our education, our students learn to interact with a wide variety of different individuals, so that you're able to find those jobs and be successful in a complex and very connected world that we live in today. A big element of our education is developing a sense of social responsibility and really applying what you've learned to the real world experiences that you're going to have both at UIS and then after graduation. About 28% of the college-educated workforce in the Springfield is a UIS alum. So we educate not only folks locally, but also from around the world. So you can see kind of a picture of what our main campus is. We are a smaller campus, so majority of your classes would be held in buildings that you see in this picture right here. This is our main quad. We are a newer university in that we were established in 1970, so we haven't been around for 150 years. But what that also means is that as we have grown as a university, there's been a lot of intentionality in how everything has been developed and built on campus. So within our classrooms, we don't have any lecture halls. We have small, intimate classrooms with classes taught by faculty members at UIS. And we are not considered a huge research institution either. While our faculty members do participate in research, their primary focus is to work with students. And so you really get to develop those relationships with your faculty members, make those connections, they can help you with different networking opportunities to really make sure you're going to be successful overall. Oh, I had to move my mouse. Hold on just a second. There we go. Now, we are part of the University of Illinois system. So there are 3 universities within the University of Illinois system. Urbana-Champaign, which is the land-grant, kind of the largest university. There's a university in Chicago, and then us here in Springfield. And while we are all sister institutions, we all do have our separate admissions requirements. And there's definitely different strengths to each of the different campuses. So kind of some numbers for what we look like right now. We have about 4,000 students enrolled at UIS. So we are a smaller campus. About a third of our students are graduate students, about 2/3 are undergraduate. And then we have been a leader in online education for the last 20 years. So while we have about 4,000 students, about a third of those students actually complete their entire coursework online. Now, I know many of you are probably interested in coming to the United States, taking classes on campus, and absolutely, by all means, we have those programs available on campus as well. But if for some reason you're not able to come to campus, you can still earn that University of Illinois Springfield degree from the comfort of your home in Ghana. And so there's definitely still those opportunities available to students. We have currently for this last fall, we were about 7% international. And like Rachel said, we have seen our international applications skyrocket this past year, which we are so excited about. So we actually anticipate to be closer to about 10 to 12% international in this coming year. And we also expect to see this number continue to grow in the next couple of years. So some quick facts about our campus. We are about the average age for students, which you can see right there. Hopefully I didn't just mess up things. I apologize. I had to move the screen a little bit. Because we are a newer campus and our history is that we were founded as a degree completion campus, a lot of our students are older students. So while you will still continue to see the traditional 18 to 22-year-old undergraduate students, and maybe graduate students that are right out of undergrad that might be 23 to 25, you also see older students in the classroom. And this actually gives our students a huge advantage because when you're having those classroom discussions and when you're learning from your peers, you're gaining knowledge from a wide range of different individuals. And that's going to make you more competitive in the workforce because you'll have more experiences in working with diverse groups that a lot of those other students may not be able to have. So UIS currently has a 13-to-1 faculty to student ratio, or student to faculty ratio, I should say. And again, as we built our campus, there was a lot of intentionality in how we designed everything, keeping our classes small. Our degrees are housed currently in 4 different colleges. We have 47 different bachelor's degrees at UIS, 50 different master's programs, 45 different graduate certificates, and 1 doctoral program in public administration. At the graduate level, some of our more popular programs include business, accounting, and finance. Computer science and data analytics are probably 2 of the largest international enrolled programs at UIS. Management information systems is also very strong in international enrollment. And then one area we've seen a significant increase in the last couple of years is our public health program because of the COVID crisis. And so we are seeing a lot of students, both domestically and internationally, looking at our public health program. And outside of the government offices here in Springfield, healthcare is the next #1 employer. And so students really are able to gain that hands-on experience working with our local health departments, working with the hospitals, and working with policymakers throughout your education to make sure you have that real world experience. And kind of as Rachel, talked about with, the importance of counseling, our counseling and psychology programs are also seeing a significant increase, which we're also excited about because there is such a demand for those counseling services needed around the world. UIS is definitely here to support students as well, both in and out of the classroom. We have academic tutoring available for students, counseling services available, financial aid, which I'll talk about in just a minute, cultural organizations, so you can still kind of feel like, you've got folks around you to help support you as well. And within the Springfield community, there are also many international grocery stores. So you're able to still get some of those foods from home, so you can still cook some of those familiar meals that you're used to. Once you are a student here at UIS, your main home away from home will be the International Student Services Office. After students are admitted, they get transitioned over to our ISS, and this is where you'll work with the school officials to help with your visa. They help with the transition process and an orientation. They help get students to and from in different areas to set up bank accounts, just to make sure that your transition to UIS is a smooth one. They also host an orientation for international students every semester so that you really get familiar with the campus, you get to meet other international students on campus, and really find your way before classes begin. Now, residence life is always a common question, and we do have plenty of housing available for our graduate students as well as undergraduate students. Now, at the graduate level, which is what the pictures are posted here, we have students are able to live in apartments and townhouses on campus. Everything is about a 5 to 7 minute walk from your classes. And so everything is very close by. The apartments and townhouses do come furnished, and so you don't have to worry about going out and buying furniture or your pots and pans or plates and dishes and things like that. All of that is provided for our students here. Students have the ability to cook their own meals at the upper level as well. So with those full kitchens that are available, and again, with those local grocery stores, you're really able to continue to have that home cooked food. Now, if cooking isn't your thing, that's perfectly fine as well. We do have dining available on our campus. And then during the winter breaks, when our dining services aren't as open or they may not be available, we do have services available on our campus to make sure that students have the food they need to get through those breaks. Our goal is to make sure that students don't go hungry, because if you're hungry, you're not going to be able to be successful in the classroom. And so we have student support opportunities through our food pantries, our micro pantries, our school supply pantries, to make sure that you have the resources you need to be a successful student. So what does it take to be a student at UIS? So for graduate admissions, majority of our programs do not require the GRE or the GMAT. There are 2 programs that do have it initially as a requirement for right now, and I'll talk about those in just a minute. To complete your application, we'll need your official transcripts and mark sheets, your final degree certificate if needed, and English proficiency scores, but coming from Ghana, that won't be needed because we will also waive that requirement. I encourage you to look at the programs that you're most interested in and look at the program specific requirements. Some of the programs are a little bit pickier than others. And so I want to make sure that when you submit your application, you're going to be the strongest candidate possible. The two programs that we see the kind of the biggest struggles in for our international students are some of the two of our larger programs, which is our computer science and our data analytics programs. In order to be considered for these two programs as an international student coming in at the graduate level, you must have completed a data structures and algorithms course prior to applying. If this course is not completed, you will automatically be denied. And so I encourage you to definitely pay attention to that. You can take this class through UIS online. And so if that is something you're really interested in and you haven't completed that course, please reach out to me and I can get you kind of set up for what that course is and get those next steps going. It is also very important to pay attention to the deadlines at UIS. At UIS, we do operate on rolling admissions. So the deadlines listed here are advisory deadlines for students needing that F1 student visa. In order to be considered for the fall semester each year, we encourage students to submit their application and all of their supporting documents no later than May 1st. For the spring term, we encourage everything to be in no later than October 1st. At UIS, we are not able to admit international students to our summer term unless you are applying to the athletic training program. Other than the athletic training, we don't offer enough on-campus courses to meet visa requirements for incoming students, but students are able to take summer courses in a continuing education plan. So again, these are advisory deadlines. And like Illinois State, we do encourage you to start your application 6 to 12 months in advance, just to make sure you have time to get all those materials to us. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our transcripts requirements. If you are already studying in the United States, or if you're planning to do your undergraduate degree in the United States and then transferring to a graduate school, you are able to send those transcripts to us directly. But if you have your undergraduate degree from a university not in the United States, at this moment, we do require a NACCES member evaluation of that transcript. A NACCES member could include WES or IEE, SPAN, TRAN. We have a list on our website with as well as the type of evaluation you would need. We are hoping to get rid of this requirement for the fall 2023 application cycle. We've recently hired somebody to do in-house evaluations, but with those in-house evaluations, there will still be a fee associated with that. And at the graduate level, there might still be some benefits to having that NACCES member evaluation. And again, you can reach out to me directly and we can talk about kind of the pros and cons of those different situations to make sure that we set you up for the best path forward. Because you're coming from Ghana, you don't need that English requirement. So I'm going to skip past this English waiver, because after you apply, it will initially show that you need that English proficiency. And then within a couple of hours, that's going to be waived. So you don't even need to worry about that. For pricing your education, the average tuition for our graduate students is about $16,000, and this is just tuition and fees. But the estimated total cost for a full year to attend UIS is around $35,000, which is what our I-20 amount is as well. Now, many students are then going, oh my goodness, how am I going to pay for this? So we do have athletic scholarships available even at the graduate level. In fact, our soccer team is actually mostly international and mostly graduate students. Our soccer coach is from Scotland, so he tends to recruit internationally quite a bit. If you are an athlete and competing in the collegiate environment is something you're interested in, there are forms available on our athletic website where you can reach out to the coaches, express your interest and share a little bit about your experience, and then they might reach back out to you as well. At the graduate level, we also have graduate assistantships as well as internships. And the difference between these two is the assistantships are going to be on campus, and these will be teaching assistantships, helping out in our labs, pre-professional assistantships, or working in different on-campus offices. And then we have a unique program at UIS called the Graduate Public Service Internship, where students actually work off campus with government entities and nonprofit organizations. Both of these programs, the assistantships and internships, come with waivers for tuition as well as a monthly stipend. They actually sat down and calculated that if you are offered one of these competitive positions, Your average cost to attend UIS would still be around $12,000, and that includes housing, food, insurance, and things along those lines. But the majority of that cost would be covered by these assistantships and internship tuition waivers. After students graduate, we want to make sure you're going to be successful. Here are a couple of the examples of where individuals have found positions. We do have a lot of our graduate students coming from overseas who are able to continue on with OPT extensions, working with different companies, specifically in the state of Illinois, including State Farm, which Rachel mentioned up in Bloomington Normal. I anticipate seeing some more with the new car factory plant that was opened up there, as well as Caterpillar, which is located in Bloomington, also about an hour north of us. So kind of your next steps, again, is to make sure you submit your application 6 to 12 months in advance, and then to make sure you check the academic requirements for your program. After you apply, you'll get a status page, so you'll be able to see what we have received and what still might be missing. And then you don't need to worry about that F1 student visa until you receive your admissions decision. At that point, you'll work with the International Student Services Office, and they'll provide you with a secure portal to upload all of those documents that they need. So again, think about those questions you might have. If you want to reach out to me, you can do so at international-admissions@uis.edu, and I look forward to hearing from you. So next up, I'm going to pass everything over to Vanessa from Hood College.
Hello, everyone. It is such a pleasure for me to be with you today. My name is Vanessa Solis. I work at the Graduate School of Hood College, and we are located in the center of, very close to Washington, D.C., in the center of Maryland. And I'm going to show you a video, so please bear with me.
When we say Hood is home, it's for so many reasons. Hood is home to a welcoming, supportive campus right in one of Maryland's most vibrant cities.
Hood's home of Frederick is less than an hour from Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Gettysburg.
Hood is home to classes small enough so your voice is heard, with the personal attention to get you thinking big.
While Hood is your home, you'll have the opportunity to live in our spacious and secure residence hall.
Hood is home to all of this and so much more.
Thank you so much. And again, Hood is home.
When we
really hoping that you guys were able to hear the sound. Again, thank you so much for the invitation. I'm going to talk about Hood College. So it was founded in 93, I'm sorry, but the graduate school is only 50 years old. I know that the terminology college in some countries might refer to a small institution. However, we do have undergraduate and graduate programs. With our graduate programs, we offer a doctorate degrees as well. We have a program called the 4+ program, where students who start their undergraduate education with us, they can add 1 or 2 more years and they can obtain their master's degree as well. They can take some credits from master's level while they're pursuing their undergraduate education. We are very happy to work with different employers, different organizations here in the DC area metro, where our students have the opportunity to do their internships, OPT, CPT in their agencies. And we encourage international students to work with different employers in the area. We're actually helping them to obtain job opportunities later when they complete their education. And I'm going to talk about that later. As I mentioned before, we are located very close to Washington, DC, very close to Maryland's capital as well, Baltimore. And we are in the downtown of Frederick, Maryland, which is a beautiful, very small town. And we have different programs for the undergraduate level, but I'm gonna talk about our master's and doctoral degrees. So we have the biomedical science program, master's in bioinformatics, which is a combination between biology and IT. Environmental biology with different certificates. We also have STEM programs, the computing programs. We have information technology, computer science, cybersecurity, and management information systems. We are combining 2 programs with management information systems. We have business administration with IT. So we are implementing these new programs where students have the opportunity to mix 2 different programs together so they can have a background for everything when they're going to apply for different jobs. We have careers in the arts department as well with ceramics, MFA. We're creating the writing program as well for students who want to write books in the future. We also have the MBA with different tracks like accounting, project management. Those are the different certificates that the student can obtain while pursuing the business administration master's degree. We also have doctorate degrees like organizational leadership, business administration, as well as online programs. If you're interested to start your education in the US, that's wonderful because we can help you obtaining your F1 visa. However, if you want to start your education from your home country and just continue working in your career and your professional development, you can also apply to our online programs, which are asynchronized, of course, for the time difference. These are just a couple of steps that we encourage our students to complete when applying to our school. So the very first thing is going to be just start an application. Just type who.edu, grad apply, where you're going to fill out all the information, your background, demographics, and you're also going to be required to probably send a statement of purpose or a resume of work experience. It depends on each program. And as Rebecca was mentioning before, for the University of Illinois, we also required a NACES course-by-course evaluation. So this is how it works. Your university need to send your transcripts to any NACES organization. We recommend WES, IEE, ECE, Spantron. There are like 31 different members from NACES. NACES is going to translate your document, but however, it's in English, so probably not translation. They're also going to convert the final GPA to the 4.0 US standard GPA. They're also going to certify that your document is official. So your institution will send the transcripts to NACES, and transcript will send it to HOOD or to the university that you are applying. That's, of course, if you are going to be an international student. Now we just have to skip this step right here because you're a student from Africa. You do not need to present any English test. You are going to have to probably send us some documents like statement of purpose, a resume, some letters as well from people who are going to be your professional references, and pay the application fee. That for some students, we understand that it can be a struggle. You can just contact the graduate school and ask for a waiver for the application fee. We have cutting edge facilities. That's what I was mentioning before. We're very, very close. We work with 4 district, which is right here in the DC area metro, where our students have the opportunity to work directly in their labs. If you're looking for any biology, bioinformatics, biomedical science degree, you will have the opportunity to work directly with one of our labs. And this is a picture of one of our students who were working at Leidos while COVID was happening in 2020. They were actually helping the employers at Leidos, just trying to develop something that could help our community. Real world curriculum at high level. Our teachers are professionals working in the field, and we are very proud to report that all of our students who have applied for OPT or CPT have obtained a job while completing their education. So I know that most of you may know this terminology, but CPT is the opportunity that the US government give international students to work while they're pursuing their education. And OPT is going to allow them to apply to a job when they complete the education. So for a STEM, it's going to be 3 years. For any other degree, is going to be only 1 year. All of our students, well, we have a really great career center development to help international students obtaining a job once they graduate. Because of course, the reason why you're going to pursue a master's degree is to develop your professional, your career, but to obtain a job. And it's just so much better if you have the opportunity to do it here in the US. We have different classrooms that are going to be just cutting edge, like for example, this trading room that is going to simulate as if you were working at Wall Street. And just a couple of facts for our graduate programs, we have 19 master's degrees, 2 doctorates, and 10 certificate programs. Now, in terms of flexibility, most of our classes are in the evening so that we can accommodate all your schedule during the day. You might be working, you might be applying for any kind of assistantship or fellowship. So that's why our classes are offered in the evening. Some of them are often in the weekends, especially for doctoral degree. And some of them are hybrid. We're very happy as well to report that 12% of our graduate population are international students. So you won't be here by yourself. You will have more students from Ghana, students from Nigeria. We have students from all over the world. And we have very competitive tuition costs. We can say that because we're in an area that it's very, very expensive, our costs are pretty affordable in compared with other universities here in the DC area. Well, before I go to questions, I just wanted to add that we also offer different for our international students, but we help them especially with internships. We understand that international students cannot apply for a job at the beginning of their education. If they don't have any CPT opportunity, they cannot apply for a job. And of course, you need to survive. So we offer international students the opportunity of an internship where you're gonna probably like just help a professor teaching one of their classes. You're gonna work with one of our offices. You're gonna probably be helping the athletics department here at her college. So we support our students as much as we can. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat. My information is right here. My name is Vanessa Solis, and my email address is very simple. My last name is solis@ho.edu. And I'm going to post my slide right here. So please feel free to take a screenshot. Feel free to WhatsApp me if you have any questions. That's my number. +1 is the code for the country, 240-651-4015. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I'm going to pass it by Bernice.
Wow, thank you all very much. I don't know how listeners are feeling, but when Rachel started, I was like, oh, wow. And then Rebecca came in and now, but I think for students, I think the most important thing is not just how beautiful the campus looks like, but what makes a good fit. And again, I should say that Education USA is here to help you understand your own needs as you prepare to choose schools and apply. We have quite a number of questions. I think some of you mentioned that you have application fee waivers, but some didn't talk about that. So I will put the question back here and have you comment about it.
I can go ahead and start. So for Illinois State University, we typically do not waive an application fee for our international students. So I apologize for that, but hopefully that's a small investment for you, knowing that you might be eligible for other types of funding down the line. And our application fee right now is $50.
Thank you.
So at UIS, we are currently not charging application fees through the spring 2023 term. The application fees will return in the fall 2023 term. The amount has not yet been determined, and we are also working on criteria for waivers, but at this point, not many waivers will be offered for graduate students.
Thank you.
For the college, at the moment, we're not offering waivers. However, if the student contact us and they can say like, I went to your session for Education USA Accra, can you please just like help me with a waiver? We will consider it. And we can also provide you with like any other free test. Like, for example, if you need like support with like the English test, of course you don't need that, but we will provide you with like any kind of support like that or the course by course evaluation.
Thank you very much. And our next question is, which department at your institutions issue I-20 forms?
Okay, I will go ahead and start again. So here at Illinois State University, our I-20s are provided through our International Admissions Office. Obviously, once you do have that declaration of financing in place, whether that comes from multiple different areas like a graduate assistantship or your personal finances, that does get created by our International Admissions Office.
And at UIS, it goes through our International Student Services Office, and students would receive information from them after they have been admitted.
It goes to our PDSO, who is the liaison for international student, and she will be in charge of just like getting in touch with the student and helping them step by step, just completing every single document, like the affidavit of support and everything else that is involved with the I-24.
Thank you. So I think for most of these schools that are interested in international students, they have international students services or offices or programs. There's a name, but they have an office that would take care of international students and their needs. So there was a question about English proficiency, which you all clearly indicated that you don't need the TOEFL or Duolingo or IELTS because students from Ghana speak English and we also learn English. So I'll skip that and move to the next question. It's a very interesting question to me. Can a graduate student change majors after they enroll on campus?
I think we'll just go down the line then again. So at Illinois State, the answer to that is yes. However, a graduate student would still need to meet the criteria again for admission into that program. We would also look at your graduate GPA that you've secured currently then while at the university. And I always recommend that students then reach out to the coordinator and meet with them while they're here.
Okay.
That is the same at UIS. You know, students are able to change. Sometimes you find it's not necessarily the best fit, or maybe you want to do a second master's program. But a lot of times, you know, we encourage students to really look at those programs before they apply, and to make sure that how the program is described meets your long-term goals.
Thank you.
Same protocol here at Hood College.
Thanks. Okay. So somebody is asking, how important is the statement of purpose or the application essay, the admission essay students are required to write? How important is that in the application?
Wow, well, I would say that is probably one of the most important pieces that a faculty member will review in the admission process. Really what they're looking to gain from viewing that statement is why you're interested in it, what makes you a good individual or a fit for that particular program, and they can really gain a lot of insights from there. So I always tell students too, if you have any extenuating circumstances, or if there's things that really it would be helpful for a committee member to know, that is really important to go ahead and address that in your statement of purpose.
Likewise, I think that's probably one that, you know, aside from your academics for your undergraduate degree, that statement of purpose, that academic statement is probably carries the most weight for our faculty members making admissions decisions.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, it is the same. It's a very, very important document. And I just wanted to say that please, I know sometimes it can be a little bit tempting to just go to Google and be like, I want to just Google my statement of purpose and just like copy and paste it. Not do that, because we have a system to just like find any kind of like copy of plagiarism document. I think all the universities might have that, and they might run your document before it gets submitted. So just try to work with your document with your inner words. Just talk about your own personal experience.
Thank you. I like that you are cautioning people to not do cut and paste there, and you've all said it's so important. And to our audience, I can I cannot overemphasize the importance, but you need to really spend time. That is your voice in the application. There is a question about assistantships. Students are asking, do they have to apply separately for the assistantships at your school, or it's all part of the application?
That is a great question. And at Illinois State, it really probably depends mostly on the type of assistantship that you're looking for. But I would say 9 times out of 10, yes, you will need to apply for those positions separately, because sometimes the department may not know that you're interested in a research or a teaching assistantship. Our pre-professional assistantships then at the university are ones that are usually not through your home or academic department. So that's when obviously that is important for you to apply to those separately. Just as a tip, I always encourage our students to apply for as many assistantships as you are interested in applying for. So, you know, I've had some students that apply for half a dozen, and I have some that apply for 20 to 30. So if you do qualify for them, it certainly doesn't hurt. And again, that's it's like applying for a job. So here at Illinois State, it is important that your cover letter addresses some of those things. I know sometimes people just want to write a very generic cover letter, which is certainly okay. But you may want to tailor those just depending on the type of position that you're looking for.
At UIS, it's a little bit different than how Illinois State does it. We have one application for all of our graduate assistantships and internships. And within that application, you indicate what your strengths are, what experience you've had, what you might be interested in. And there's a couple of questions. And you can complete that application before you've been admitted. And we encourage students to do that, just because they'll start looking at those applications relatively early in the spring. So if your admission comes later, everything's already in line and those departments can look at everything. Like the application, it's important to pay attention to what requirements are. So within our graduate assistantships and internships, they do require 3 letters of recommendation, while some of our programs only require 2 letters of recommendation. And so you do need to make sure that you meet all of those requirements in order to be considered.
Good. Well, of course, we have kind of like the same protocol, but we do have an office that is dedicated just for professional development. Especially that same office is the one that has helped international students obtaining an OPT, the permission to work once they finish. So the prospective student will contact that office and just see the all the jobs that are available, the application steps, and the ladies there will help the international students from the process of like writing the letter from the very beginning.
Thank you very much. Our time is running up so quickly. I mean, coming up so quickly, but we'll take 2 more quick questions. One goes to UIS, to Rebecca, about your graduate public service. There's a question about whether internationals can apply.
Any international student is able to apply. We have a lot that do our GPSI program, and then we do have bus routes that run through campus to help students get to those positions off campus if they don't have other transportation.
Great, thank you. And then what will be our last question is on how you can make up for a low GPA. If your GPA is kind of low, how can you make up for that in order to be admitted? What can help you to, strengthen your application?
Yeah, that's a tough one because a lot of our graduate programs will require a minimum GPA. Usually it is a 3.0 GPA in your last 2 years of study. So in order to really help make up for that, you could, obviously, you're going to have to write a stellar essay or a personal statement in terms of really what makes you a very well qualified individual for that program, what makes you unique. The only other thing that I can also maybe recommend is you could also look at taking the GRE or possibly the GMAT, depending on your program, to sort of kind of help offset some of that. But a lot of our programs don't really require it anymore. So again, you'd really want to reach out to the coordinator directly for that program and just chat through with them some of your options.
Similarly, some of our programs are very competitive. And so that GPA requirement is going to be very, applicable. And even with a great statement, they have to make sure that you're going to be successful within that program. We have seen some students apply for a second bachelor's degree or take additional coursework to bring that GPA up. So those are just some individual choices that you would be able to make. But again, kind of applying to graduate school, they're going to be looking at the prerequisite coursework and making sure that you're really prepared. But again, that personal statement is also a great opportunity, especially with COVID and everything that's happened. If there is a reason why your GPA is lower, to make sure you really explain that in your application as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll be wrapping up. We thank you, ladies. You've been amazing. Thank you for the information and especially the tips. All of you have given us some tips in the process. I want to remind our audience that Education USA is still your best friend if you want to apply to schools. Our presenters this afternoon have shared their contacts. So go back to the video if you are now joining and watch everything, take the contacts and reach out to them. If you have general questions on the application, reach out to Education USA Accra or Education USA Kumasi. And I'm happy to announce that my other colleague, Miss Owusu, she graduated from a school in Maryland. I don't want to be in trouble with her. On that note, I thank